so soft.
The question was, how does he control them? And he just lets them know who's boss. But also he's using his legs and his arms, and he knows the animal sitting a certain way, it can't get away. But if it knows that you don't know what you're doing, it'll get away. This is what we would do in a 10-grand and power outage. You could imagine.
Go now. Jelly. It's gonna take way faster.
So this little guy that he's working on now is an Icelandic little ram lamb. Icelandics have both horned and polled sheep. And polled is a sheep that has no horns, but I have mostly all horned sheep. And both the girls and the boys have horns. The boys just have bigger horns. This guy is about 3.5 months old, so he's, but they're also a smaller breed than the last fellow you saw. His fleece is all that he's grown since he was born, so it's probably around 9 inches long already on this guy. Maybe he's around 7 inches already. I usually, Icelandics always have to be shorn twice a year. Because they grow so much wool so fast. This is the first time that this little guy has been shorn. And it's the summer fleece that's a really nice fleece that the spinners like to have. The winter fleece tends to get quite wrecked with the rain and the wind and rubbing on trees and stuff. It tends to get matted up a little bit. So it's the summer fleece to me that it has the high value. In Iceland, the Icelandic is their main, is the only sheep that they have in Iceland. It's been the only sheep there for about 1,000 years.
I do.
So, and it's highly specific for that region. And they use it mostly for meat in Iceland. They did use them for milk in the 40s in Iceland, but that has waned quite a bit. These sheep tend to be a little bit more feisty than some of the lowland breeds. Their meat is really mild tasting. The other interesting thing about Icelandics is if you notice that the last lamb, he had quite a long tail, but Icelandics have naturally short tails, and as part of these northern short-tailed breeds of sheep. Morgan's doing a very good job on cranking. Is there any questions?
Oh, all right. I gotta make it through the whole street.
Yeah, he's just a little one though. Way to go, Morgan! So that's my poor little guy. Now that he's naked, he looks half the size. Yeah, maybe Evans can grab him. Oh.
Well, we're just going to make a trade-off here. What people liked about this kind of shearing is that the farmers actually got more wool clipped off. There's not as much, we're shearing right next to the skin. I guess the downside is the guy that's cranking, it's his turn for his arm to nearly fall off by the end of it.
So the next sheep coming in is actually the last sheep's mom. So this is Bree.
Hello, Bree.
Bree was actually She was born very, very tiny and was a bottle baby. I think she was only 3 pounds when she was born. But she's turned out to be a very good mom, even though she's on the smaller side, and usually produces lambs that are actually end up being bigger than her. Brie is only 3 years old now, I think. And she's what's called a black-gray spotting pattern. So Icelandics have all sorts of weird spotting patterns and just all sorts of color patterns. That, it seems to me that most animals in Iceland don't stick to any one color pattern. The chickens are all different colors. The Icelandic chicken, the Icelandic horse comes in all sorts of different colors. I think the Icelandic dog comes in all sorts of different colors. So Iceland just seems to like things that come in all different colors. It makes these guys really easy to identify. So everybody has a name because I can tell who everybody is because they all look very different from each other. The other interesting thing about Icelandics is they have what's called a tog and a fell. So they have a long outer coat, which is really quite long, quite strong, and it's what makes the Icelandic sweater very strong and doesn't go out in the elbows. But they have a very, very fine undercoat, which is akin almost to the merino in how fine the micron fibers are of the wool. So if you want to make baby clothes, you have to separate the long wool from the short undercoat, and then you can make really fine garments. But the one thing I did want to point out is that if you look at hers, the way that her fleece is, and it's quite, you can see that it's quite long. You've got a bag, Eddie? You can see that the fleece that Diana is spinning, it has a much tighter crimp. When you see it all wavy like this, that's quite a fine crimp on this one. Whereas my guys with the Icelandic, it's only the fine part. I'm going to separate them. Hang on. So when I pull it apart, this part